Chad Elkins presents the Elkins Accounting Hour with your host, Chad Elkins.
All right, Mr. Clarey, how goes it today? Oh, yeah, there's a little, I was going to say Vlad, but does it have a name?
I hate Democrats. I hate boomers. Women need bigger tits.
Yeah.
I want to say the Aaron Clarey Jr. says hello to the candidate.
Well, she will be, she's actually watching in the other room, so that's going to make her happy. You guys, I want to take a moment. If you can see over my shoulder there, the candidate and I got a lovely, lovely gift in the mail.
Kind person.
Clarey sent us this awesome, it's a lamp it's a lamp that just kind of, as you can see, it changes colors. And I was originally going to like pick my favorite color, but I'll just let it go and shift colors the whole time because that's probably what you do.
It's only through trial and error, but your lighting is really good. Like,
Yeah.
so you got the light, whatever's in front of your face right there, but with it all dark and that going on, and that's pretty. You're looking like a pro now.
Ah, right. Well, I'm learning. It's been 2.5 years now, but I'm learning. Let me see. Can I do this? Yeah, you can still kind of see it.
You can move the camera.
Actually,
if you want it to be.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
see?
sweet.
Look at all the new
Look at
techniques you're
that.
picking. Man, you are like a PhD in podcasting now.
Man, I love it when it's December because I get to just screw around.
What is it nice down there?
Yeah, it was in the 60s earlier this week, so I've been running outside, but today it's like chilly and rainy, but I'm sure where you are, it's very nice.
It's
right?
60 some. Yeah, it's nice down here.
You get to go hiking with cool dudes like O'Neill.
Yeah, he's alive. He was not killed in Colombia he was not one of the black men they were targeting a year ago. Because people don't know O'Neill. O'Neill's this cool Jack Black dude. And he came, he grew up in the Caribbean. So he's island life and all that. And then he spent some time, his youth, in Florida. And I met him at Sticky Paws Studios. And we're just chit-chatting. And then because we knew different people within the podcasting world. And he had only been in Vegas, I think, like a week and a half. I'm like, well, do you want to go hiking? He's like, yeah. So here you got this island guy, a flatlander. And we took him down to the Colorado River and back up. And then we did Black Mountain. We did and we took him out to Zion. So within, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, he went from like flatland to holy God, what the hell's going on? So then he goes to Colombia. And the very next week, there's all those, I don't know, remember when all the black guys are getting targeted by whatever criminals?
Yeah.
And and he didn't pick up his phone. And he didn't pick up his phone for 7 months. And me and the guys that went hiking, like, is he dead? Like, honest to God, but he's back. He's alive. So it was good to see O'Neill again.
Yeah, and the last time I was in Vegas, like Clarey said, we all went to Zion and hiked. I forget the name of the trail, but it had that great view when you get to the
East
top.
Mesa Overlook. You overlook the entire valley. Yep.
Beautiful. So real quick, as we always do on the Elkins Accounting
Oh God,
Hour,
I'm wincing. What?
This is a real man's beer, Clarey.
Okay.
This is called Deep Ellum IPA, and it's which is the name of the brewery. It's actually Deep Ellum Brewing Company in Dallas.
Okay.
7% ABV, and man, it's tasty. It is. It's just so citrusy, like it's so good.
Not like lavender and butterscotch with Hershey syrup in it, like a real normal beer.
No,
okay.
I drank these over Thanksgiving and got pretty messed up. So yeah.
Does that replace your other favorite beer with what was the one? It's got the young black gal on the cover and
the waffle one. Saturday morning.
Waffle's still better.
That's still better. However, they're never gonna. I don't think they're ever gonna make that beer again. So I've got one left that I'm just like saving. Yeah, they do this.
Why?
I don't know. Like they make these tasty beers, and I guess the costs are too high, and they don't want to charge
more.
That's what I say. So yeah, saving that last one for a special occasion, I guess. You have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I can't remember it because I was just down here chilling out by myself. But it was a nice, relaxing time. Yeah, I'm sure I did. I probably went out for dinner or something like. But that's the thing in Vegas. There's so many tourists and so many foreigners who don't celebrate Thanksgiving or traditional American holidays. You can't really tell, and all the places are open anyway. So it didn't, like if you're in I don't know, let's say you're in Kansas City and it's Christmas Eve and you're looking for food. I mean, your options are Chinese food and Jewish delis, and like everything's dead. It's really dead. Here it was, you wouldn't have noticed it was a holiday.
Okay. So I think you're probably still not allowed to set these super chat goals yet, are you? On your channel?
I haven't checked recently. No. Why? Is there developments in that?
No, I was just saying we're going to try this again. I'm going to set a much more attainable, realistic goal. So we just need 10 super chats of $5 or more. We've already got 2 of them. And I'll tell everybody what I told you a couple weeks ago that you thought was so funny about Cuddlewooks. So,
oh yeah, that's right. We get to get the gossip and the dirt on a vile and evil human being. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, now wait. You got to be careful not to mention like locations.
Oh, I won't. I won't.
Okay. All right.
I'll protect her anonymity. Yeah.
I'd protect you from a lawsuit, is what it really is. Yeah.
Even though I think she tried to get me thrown into the can, I won't go there.
To this day. All right. And I'm not lying just to get more super chats, but it's worth hearing. It's definitely worth hearing.
Yeah. Well, this is going to probably be a pretty fun stream because, Clarey, you like to test your knowledge about taxes and, seeing how well you can work out some of these. It occurred to me, and I'm curious if you agree, I feel like I've been neglecting my EAs a little bit. Like I haven't been talking enough about the enrolled agent certification because, I've been going on about like changes to the CPA exams and getting rid of that 150-hour requirement. I've been talking about bookkeeping a lot. Like I just, and I kept getting more and more questions about the EA. So I'm like, well, if you guys are going to keep asking me how hard the EA exam is, even though I've never taken it, maybe we'll go through this a little bit. And I found some article, which we'll get to that eventually, but it had 50 sample 50. EA questions.
Okay.
50.
I'm in for a while. All right.
So, well, we don't have to do all 50 of them. I actually picked out a select 13 for you from each subcategory. And if we want, we can do more. I'll preface this by saying, you actually need to study for this exam. So there's some easy ones, but some of these ones I'm going to ask you, you kind of have no hope of like knowing the answer, but maybe we'll see if you can.
All right, so you didn't pick the low hanging fruit. You're not going.
I did. I actually did. Yeah. Because some of the other ones, like, unless you know about how taxes work and elements of it, like kind of a deep dive thing, you wouldn't know. So I wanted to be fair to you, but there's also a few in here. Yeah.
Now you're going all affirmative action DEI on me. You're like, what's 1 + 1? 2. Oh, you're a doctor at UCLA now. Why you? Okay, go through the original 13, but there's, throw me a couple real ones here. I don't want to.
I'll get
by on my looks. I mean, let's.
And like I said, if we go through these 13 and you want to do more, we'll do more.
Okay. Right.
By the way, speaking of PhD, did you see that? It was earlier this week that the woman who got a PhD in smells or something like that.
Smelling racism or some dumb horseshit. And I commented on her thing. I said, I will never call you a doctor for a worthless degree. It's like the same thing with Jill Biden. Jill Biden is not a doctor. She's an adult child boomer who spent 8 years studying education.
Dr. Jill.
Dr. Jill Biden.
Dr. Jill. So yeah, another quick note I wanted to point out for you guys. Claire, do you remember how I did a stream? It was about 1.5 years ago about how they were going to start issuing those 1099K forms for people that do 600 or more in any transaction. That was originally supposed to be for 2023. They kicked it down. They kicked the can down the road for this year, 2024. So I was dreading that. Well, now they've done it again. So they have changed the threshold. They did this last week. So get this, for 2024, if you have accumulated $5,000 or more using a payment processor or eBay or, Venmo and all that, PayPal, then you'll get a 1099K. That's going to drop to $2,500 for 2025. So they're gradually.
Hang on. they try to enforce a law that's not enforceable, or a regulation that's not enforceable.
Yeah.
Then they say, all right, we'll kick it up to 5,000, but then we're going to drop it down to 2,500.
Yeah. Oh, it gets worse. And then
Okay.
guess what they're going to do in 2026?
$1,200.
They're going to take it right back to 600. So I'm wondering if the new administration or Congress or whatever is just going to get rid of this, because it's just so stupid. It's see what they're doing. I mean,
rumors going around that the tax code is definitely going to be looked at by the Trump administration.
Yes.
And hopefully it is simplified and made it so that everyone can more easily comply.
Yeah.
With this. And well, you and I had a conversation where I got like this other regulatory requirement where I'm looking at it and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like, no, fucking audit me. Like, because Chad, it is easier for me to be audited because I have all my documentation, right? I'm ready to go. Send your IRS agent out here. We'll sit down. Here it is. You'll be in. I'll fly out wherever you happen to be. That is going to be less time consuming than me and less cost than me with this latest regular. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not. If you think I'm cheating on my taxes, audit me. But otherwise, I'm not doing this.
So there's about 26, 27 days left in 2024. And you guys remember I did that BOI stream, about 6 months ago. It was around the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't look up the percentage. In fact, one of you guys in the chat looked this up. Almost nobody has complied with this because they don't know about it. So if someone would do me a favor, because there's been articles about this, tell me how many people have actually done this.
Mr. Elkins.
Yeah.
Now, you heard me, sir. I sent you an article.
Yes,
now,
you did.
It's a week old.
Yeah.
But it was out of the estimated 32 million the FinCEN was expecting to file. Only 6 million had filed.
Holy shit.
Less than 20%.
God, Brian Kim did a video on this just last week, or maybe it was 2 days ago. And he was really pissed because the really large banks and large corporations are exempt from this. So he's just like, what the hell? Why is it that like small businesses have this burden, but the big people who actually have the money don't have to do this?
Well, if I recall the BOI the statement, it's to show ownership or you are a significantly influential person in a corporation.
Yes.
But I can understand large corporations because one corporation might have a 10% ownership in another corporation and sit on the board of this thing. I mean, very rarely do you see a corporation that owns only all of its own shares and doesn't have like a part venture with another firm. And there's nothing really mischievous or money laundering like going on there. It's just like, well, we're GM. And there's a company that makes Clarey, it's Delco. We're going to buy a part ownership in Delco because we think it's worthwhile. So I can understand why corporations do it, but with so much cross ownership or minority ownership and interest in, and then all these guys, they also sit on other boards too. The compliant, they can't. I mean, they can, but they're not going to be making cars anymore. They're just going to be complying with ridiculous regulatory burden.
And, you know, with the new I keep saying new administration, even though they'd been there before, with the next administration coming in and, you know, you got Elon and Vivek doing that Doge thing.
Doge, I hope to God it's true. Yes.
I just have a feeling a lot of this stuff's going to go away because it's pointless. So for small businesses. So I do anticipate that this is going to go away. And this is another fun thing. I never do this, but I got into a fight with somebody in Brian Kim's comments under that video he did, because they're like, my accountant didn't tell me about this. And I go, well, actually, it's not your accountant's job to tell you about it. And so someone's like, yeah, it is. And I go, well, I did it for my clients, was not required. So yeah, there was some mudslinging, but
is the sky, but let me ask you, Chad, is it a fact that your CPAs or accountants are not required to tell you about this?
Correct. It's not our job.
Fact. It's not tax related. So why are you arguing with this guy?
Like, just for fun.
If I go out, I say the sky is blue, and someone says no, it isn't. I'm like, okay, buddy, have fun on TikTok or Twitter or whatever.
I was just sitting here the other day, candidates at work, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's on now. You know. Uh-oh. Speaking of on right now,
Dre.
Atham, if you want to come on, just let me know, because maybe we'll get you to answer some of these questions too. These questions that are on the EA exam. So we'll see.
He's
how
probably
that
having fun playing video games with his PC.
He is. What's Stalker 2?
See, yeah, exactly. I knew
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I'm so happy he's done with school.
Yeah.
It's just like now he's actually going out having fun and living life.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm due for another visit out there, Atham, if you know what I mean. So, so anyway, that was really all I had. I'm going to clear a few of these super chats. We've already gotten 3 of 10 to get to our goal. So we'll get
saucy,
these.
juicy bits on Cuddle Wookums.
We'll start with Crab.
King Crab, $5. My life 2025, working my lineman safety job, bookkeeping business, doing VITA.
Oh, that's the voluntary income tax assistance where you get taxes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And working part-time in H&R Block, just got hired. Man, this guy's all over. Look at him diversify his skill set. Yeah.
I've had him on twice. It was just me and him, but yeah, he's been on twice here. So I'm going to have him come back after tax season with the rest of the H&R guys, and we'll see how it goes.
You know, in a couple of years, guess who's not going to be fireable?
Him.
Yeah, he'll be like, okay, fine, bye. I gotta go do something else. The Y2A problem, $5. Almost done with training at H&R Block. Just a couple online calls to go. I don't have a schedule yet.
All right. Well, the Y2A problem, I know we've exchanged messages. Same to you. We'll do another H&R roundtable after tax season. We'll see how it goes.
We need someone to get into Jackson Hewitt. You can't be H&R Block all the
There
time.
actually is one guy that has reached out to me. We do have somebody on the. We do have an agent in the field that's going to work at Jackson Hewitt. I'm really interested in that.
Nice. Steve Camacho, $5. Wondering what your thoughts of realistic earnings expectations for self-employed solo accountants are. I'm curious. I have my opinion, but I'm curious about yours.
Well, I've been a self-employed solo accountant the whole time I've been doing this. Like, I never hired anybody. I never got any help, so to speak. You build, it gets higher year after year. But I mean, this is just gross revenue. You always have expenses. After year 4, I grossed 6 figures, and I could have done that earlier. I could have. So you can do it like in 2 or 3 years. I just deliberately went a little slower because I was helping my dad, down in Texas as he was retiring. This is before I knew you, Clarey. So this was like, I was going slower. Yeah, within 2 or 3 years, you can be at 6 figures because, God, the shortage right now, man. Yeah, I've said it 1,000 times.
I was going to concur. I was going to say it would depend on taxes or bookkeeping. But yeah. I was going to say about 2 to 3 years, you're definitely going to be making over 6 figures, about $55 to $60 an hour. And then you get more expertise and can start choosing your clients. Although, what percentage of your revenue was Japanese refusals? Because it was such a high dollar amount per hour and ended up accounting for 20% of your revenue last year.
So last year, meaning 2023, there were a few of these. This year, there were a lot of these, and a lot of them were in September and October. So it's not a huge percentage, but it was, well enough to be sizable. So I'm gonna say at least 5% were Japanese refusals.
Oh, that's okay.
That's kind of a lot. No, but that's
that is a lot. Yeah.
Oh man! Before I get to the next super chat, Clarey, we have a special guest.
My God! We're truly all going to man. He must be bored. I'm really bored.
Great one. When I went running earlier today, I listened to your podcast, your latest one that came out yesterday.
Can I tell you a story about the great one? Would you like to hear a story about the great one?
Absolutely.
So, all right, my struggles with the house and getting it fixed up and and my ridiculous goals of having everything completed so there's no more projects. And then I got hit by lightning and all these other things. And I would get to these stages where I would think everything was done. Something else would happen. I would think everything was done. And you found out that the sister fornicators of the construction industry in the United States screwed something up. So Gray One, somewhat rightly so, I would say, oh, yeah, I'm getting this done. Then he says oh, yeah, let me guess. Your house is done until next week. Ha, 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 ha. Well, then I listened to his podcast. I don't think it was yesterday. I think it was 2 days ago. And he's like, I can't keep up with this. I'm sorry for being late on the podcast. I got so much on my to-do list. And I'm like, so now I'm at month 3 where there's really no to-do list anymore. I'm like, hey, Gray One, what's it like? I'm month 3 with no projects. And your to-do list, it's escaping from you, huh? A little bit too much to do on that to-do list, huh? It's all right. It's okay. I'm gonna go hiking and find tarantulas.
I really feel for Great One because I'm sorry, Clarey, like there are no good-looking women in Rapid City. There's just not.
They're there, but they're very rare. And a lot of times you look and you're like, oh, but it's a tourist. But yeah, it's do not, if you think, oh, South Dakota sounds great, Cappy likes, I do like it out there, but if you're looking for women, I would be not going here.
The only ones I saw were at the Planet Fitness we went to, and they were surrounded by like 2 or 3 guys, all of them. So
Yeah, no, the good, it's like bring your own beer, bring your own girl to South Dakota. Yeah,
which is what you did.
That's what I did. Wait, we didn't even read the great ones. I didn't.
Yeah, we did. He was just saying that, you know, you got to.
Yeah, but I didn't. Wait, there was another one.
He was calling you a liar.
Clarey lies, all lies.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Vegas Fun Guy, $5. Just met my fellow tax associates in an H&R Block open house. They're mostly boomers who don't know how to log in the company computer to clock in.
Vegas Fun Guy, please feel free to email me anytime if you have fun stories about this, because that sounds like a good one.
Spambot Fodder, 501 California, Canadian. Here's another, but it's not USD, so enjoy or suffer with the exchange rate shenanigans. Oh yeah. Do you remember Stephen Harper, the previous Prime Minister of Canada?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Under him, the Canadian dollar and the US dollar, I'm pretty sure, were on parity with one another. It was 1-to-1. And now, I mean, what is the Canadian dollar? Let me take up CAD to USD. It's 71 cents.
Wow.
Like under Trudeau, you guys lost 30% of your purchasing power against the dollar. It's not the Canadian. Well, it is the Canadian's fault because they voted for the schmuck. But I'm just like, man, you guys had a pretty good prime minister and you got rid of him because pretty boy Floyd over there said nice things.
Supposedly, he met with Trump, and Trump made some joke about how, well, we'll just annex Canada as the 51st state or something like that. So
I think we could take Alberta.
Yeah,
we should.
I'd take Alberta.
Alberta and Saskatchewan. We'll take it from
Avoid BC. Trust me.
Yeah, not BC and not Ontario, but we'll take your grain and your oil. We'll take that, and the hardworking people in those provinces.
All right, Atham. This is going to be fun. We'll test both of you guys' knowledge.
All right, here we go.
Gennaro
Solis Jr., $10. Recently, I got a job with Baker Tilly this coming tax season and helping with Vita on the weekends for Spanish-speaking clients. And for those who don't know, Baker Tilly is what, second-tier public accounting firm?
I mean, I hate to use the word second tier. It's not like a big four, but yeah, it's a good.
Yeah, it's not a big four, but it's not a small rink-a-dink one either.
Yeah. That's great, Gennaro or Renato. And yeah, if you're bilingual, that's going to serve you really well in this country, in this industry. So again, email me if you feel like it. Just talk about your experiences. This is funny.
Anus Potatoes, $10. Hey, Chad and other guy. What do you think is the best government job in the accounting field for work-life balance? My goal is to leverage my disabled veterans hiring preference for a cushy job.
You know, I really enjoyed my time with DOJ criminal tax because, I mean, there was some travel, like when we were doing that Snipes case, but the rest of the time you're just kind of there, you know, putting in your time, going through legal documents, going on Westlaw, and it's really not stressful at all. It might be kind of boring for you, but if you're looking for just a low stress work-life balance, either that, because the problem with you working for the IRS is they're probably going to send you out on field audits. And so that might get kind of annoying for you. But yeah, see if you can get in with DOJ tax. I also worked for, go ahead.
I was going to say, wasn't your main complaint that it was almost too boring? Like you're stuck in a room, like, and so, but isn't that all government job? Like everyone, oh, it's easy. Yeah, but it's boring.
All of the government jobs I had, except for the ones like with the U.S. tax court, I traveled all over. So that was kind of cool. But I don't know. Government jobs are boring. I couldn't do it.
Well, that's been my impression of everyone who's complained about their government jobs. It's like, well, I only got 2 hours of work to do and 8 hours to do it. I'm like, yeah, so it's like going to school. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, yeah, that's the real drawback is you got to like act like you're working or sit there and twiddle your thumbs all day. Yeah.
I did. I mean, I learned within the first month when I would walk up and be like, hey, I'm kind of finished with everything. You have anything else to do? They're like, no. So it's like, all right, guess I'll just watch YouTube all day and
Yeah.
surf the internet. So
But you can't leave, right?
no, you have to put in your. It's the opposite of being like an enterprising entrepreneur. It's just. Ugh. All right. Well, cool. That's a great start to super chats.
How many are we up here now? We get 5 or 6?
We are up towards the goal 7, so just a few more, and I'll tell you that
Almost
story, and I'll add some details. Again, no doxing, but I'll add some details too. So, all right, let's get to the main subject here.
Right, here we go.
So, like I said, I found this article. I'm going to share it. I'll put it on the screen. But what I wanted to make sure. Remember, Clarey, I've never taken the EA exams. Like, I don't know anything about them. I don't know how they compare to the reg section of the CPA exam. I just don't know. So I reached out to several people who I've known who are fans of this channel and even your channel who are EAs and who took the exam. And I heard back from a lot of them, including Nick is Steve and King Crab, who are in the chat now. And they said these are actually legit questions that you may see on the EA exam. So, and so a lot of people email me, well, how hard is it? Well, you're about to find out how hard it was. So here we go. We're going to start with testing Clarey's knowledge, and then when we get Atham on, we'll see how he does.
Is that really fair? I mean, I did go to the Carlson School of Management. I mean, is it even going to be comparable?
Okay, let me get this going. I'm hoping you'll be able to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I may need to.
Here we go. Yeah.
I might have to take you out so you can't see it. But anyway, I'll just set the table here. This is a great article. It came out about a week ago. Kansas City Star, somebody named Bryce Welker. I didn't look him up, but it was a good article. Preparing for the enrolled agent exam can be a challenging yet rewarding journey for aspiring tax professionals. If you want to do it the right way, you're in the right place. After all, practice makes perfect. Without further ado, dig into this set of 50+ multiple choice questions, practice for the EA exam, and get ready to pass on your first try. And I'm going to skip this part, but as a refresher, in case anybody doesn't know what the EA exam is, the EA exam is a series of 3 exams, each containing 100 questions to be taken over the course of 3.5 hours each. Understanding the intricacies of tax law, including credits like the American Opportunity Credit, mastering IRS forms like the Health Insurance Marketplace Statement, and preparing tax identification number requirements are crucial for success. Whether you're tackling questions on gross income, exploring tuition expenses, or learning about installment agreements, these sample questions will sharpen the skills you'll need as an enrolled agent, and it'll boost your confidence for test day.
Okay, here I go. All right.
All right. So the first thing is there's 3 different exams. There's 3 different EA exams, and there's a bunch of subcategories for each one. So like I said, we're going to go through each subcategory for each, exam. And I picked the easiest ones possible for Clarey because, again, you have to study for this. So I didn't want to just, put you with something that you wouldn't have been able to get.
All right.
So here we go. It's multiple choice. All right. Can you see these okay?
I can see them. Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
I can read them. Yep.
Okay, so we're going to start with question 2. On the first one,
don't scroll. I can see the answer. The answer's
no. Yeah, that's
right.
not a question you're answering though. That's not a question. You're not going to get to see the answer. So the first exam is called individuals. It's like individual taxation.
All right.
And the first subcategory is preliminary work with taxpayer data. Okay. I didn't think you'd be able to get question 1. So we'll go to question 2 here, and I won't show you the answer.
I won't look. Read it to me.
Okay. A taxpayer is divorced and claims 2 children as dependents on their tax return. The other parent disputes the claim. What documentation might you request from the taxpayer to support their claim? Is it A, custodial agreement and proof of residence for the children, B, a notarized statement from the taxpayer, C, the children's social security cards only, or D, proof of employment?
A.
Yeah, it's definitely A.
Come on, gee whiz.
Well, I mean, I want to get you
summa cum laude.
We got to warm you up a little bit. We got to get you,
right.
Remember, the article said we want to increase your confidence.
That was
here.
T-ball. You put the ball on the thing. I just hit it.
But so as the answer says, you need a custodial agreement and proof of residence so you can substantiate the dependence claim. And generally you alternate years on in a divorce. So that's how that works.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. I won't look again.
Don't look, So the next subsection of individuals is actually called income and assets. Okay. And I thought question 2 would be the best one for you. Okay.
All right.
So here's the question. A taxpayer received $10,000 from a crowdfunding campaign, so sort of like GoFundMe,
Right.
to fund their personal medical expenses. Is this amount taxable? A, yes, it is always taxable income. B, no, as long as the funds were used for qualified medical expenses. C, yes, unless it is specifically excluded under the tax code. Or D, no, as long as the crowdfunding was not in exchange for goods or services. Did you get all those? And can you see?
I got it. Run A and C past me again.
A was, yes, it's always taxable income. And C was, yes, unless it is specifically excluded under the tax code. And B and D were no answers. So,
well, okay, that's why I asked about A and C, but here's what I would treat it as. I don't know if it falls conveniently under those 4 questions. It is reportable, and you have to pay the income tax on that. But then if your medical expenses are deductible, you would deduct those normally through the Schedule A. So the one that most closely represents that, I think, is C.
So here's the deal. The answer is actually D, that it's not taxable as long as the crowdfunding was not in exchange for goods or services. And let me tell you why. It was a bit of a trick question.
All right.
This is essentially charity. Like GoFundMe is charity. You're not actually working for this income. It's just people giving it to you. Yeah.
Okay. So if I go set up a crowdfunding, hey, help Aaron buy his new Mach 1971 Mach 1 Mustang, and they go crowdfund me, I don't have to pay taxes on that?
That's correct. And Steve is right here. He says technically it's a gift. And so if you the gifter, if you give more than, I think it's up to $15,000 now per person, the giver has to file a tax return. But I mean, if you're crowdfunding and somebody gives you money, it's not income because you really didn't do any work.
Right. But I thought well, shoot, I'm going to set up a crowdfunding for the charity, the noble charity of everyone buying me a 1971 Mach 1 Mustang.
It's a good, you know how many scams go on and things like this?
Oh, dude, the GoFundMe or crowdfunding. Yeah. Where especially they say, oh, we're going to create a video game or a comic book. And they don't, they just take the money and run. And then all these nerds are like, but I donated money and you didn't create a video game.
Right. So I'm sorry, guys. Never contribute to GoFundMe's.
Never.
Don't.
Never. Unless it's for my Mustang.
Yeah. All right. So the next section is called deductions and credits. So I'm going to have you answer question 1 here. And I make sure you can't see the answer.
All right. I'm looking over here.
You might not actually get this one, Clarey, but it was the easiest one. A taxpayer incurred $3,000 in student loan interest in the tax year. How much can they deduct, and where is this deduction reported? A, $2,500 reported on Schedule A. B, $2,500 reported as an adjustment to income. C, $3,000 reported on Form 8863. Or D, $3,000 reported as a credit on Form 1040. Start with the value amount. Like, you think it's $2,500 or 30 or the full amount?
Wait, what? So I got to pay $3,000 in interest expense.
You paid that during the year.
I paid that.
Yeah.
And they want to know if the amount, if it's $3,000 or $2,500. I'm going to say the IRS is overly complicated, so they're not going to allow you to take the full amount. It's going to be $2,500. Am I right on that?
You are right. So do you think it's reported as an adjustment to income or as some kind of credit? And I know that's a little bit confusing, but one takes
$2,500. So $2,500 reported on Schedule A, $2,500 reported as an adjustment to income.
Yeah.
Where's the deduction report? Okay, so now it's which form? You know what? I don't remember seeing anything on a Schedule A allowing for a student loan. So I'm going to go with B as the answer.
You got the correct answer.
Right there.
The answer is B. You can deduct up to $2,500 of student loan interest as an adjustment to income. However, I didn't like this question because if your gross income is higher than certain amounts, like if it's single, I think it's 85,000, and married
Right.
double
It
that.
phases out.
It phases out. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that they should have been a little bit more clear on that question, but you did get it correct. So
but here, can I? You mean Magi? MAGI?
yeah, modified adjusted
Ah,
gross income.
yeah. See.
Hey, where you learning these jargon terms?
Give me my EA now, man.
All right. The next category under individual is called taxation. And the question I thought would be best for you is actually question 3, which I shall read to you right now. I actually think you'll get this one, Clarey.
All right.
Brett, bust out a calculator if you need to for this one.
I'll break open my calculator on the computer screen. And
Okay.
I will cover the screen so I can't even see the answers. All right, go ahead.
Okay. A self-employed taxpayer earned $120,000. What is the self-employment tax liability and how much is deductible as an adjustment to income? I'll read you the options, but Clarey, I want to mention this was before we set you up with an S corporation. So think about before all that. Okay.
Okay. Self-employment taxes. All right.
A, is it 15,300 total with half of that deductible? B, 18,360 total, half of that deductible. C, 16,800 total, half of that deductible. Or D, 18,360 total with none of it deductible. Think about the percentage.
It's 15.3%.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's the first 18,000 answer.
And
18,000 with half of it deductible.
And guess what?
I'm right.
You would be correct. Man. The self-employment tax is 15.3%, and half is deductible as an adjustment to income. Man, I feel so proud. I've trained you so well. Man, you're in the wrong career.
Yeah, you're not.
These are the easiest questions. Remember.
Okay.
All right. The next section is called advising the individual taxpayer. I should say subsection. I felt like question 3 would be the best one for you. Right. And I'll read that now. Question 3, a taxpayer asks about strategies to reduce taxable income for the year. Which of the following would you recommend? Option A, contribute to a health savings account, also known as an HSA. B, sell appreciated stock. C, prepay next year's mortgage payments. And D, increase credit card spending. We want the best answer, not any answer.
The best answer is contribute to the HSA.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah, that's obviously
Sell appreciated stock. That doesn't make that you just increase.
A lot of these make no sense. I got to be honest with you guys, and this is not a knock on the EA or anything. These are way easier than what we had on the tax section of the CPA exam. I mean, it's man. All right, so far Clarey's doing pretty well.
Pretty well.
The next one, this is actually the final one in the individual category. This one's called specialized returns for individuals. And I liked this question 1 here. Clarey, if you don't know this one after what we've been talking about recently, I don't ever
Great
talk
shame.
To me again.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
A taxpayer is a U.S. citizen living abroad and earned $105,000 in wages. What tax exclusion might they qualify for? And it's option A, foreign earned income exclusion, B, foreign tax credit, C, exemption from FICA taxes, and D, total income exclusion. This was literally my last stream.
What are the first 2 titles?
First 2 are foreign earned income exclusion. That's A, and then B is foreign tax credit.
A, the foreign earned income exclusion.
It is A, right. Yes. This was pretty much what my entire last stream was about a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I figured you'd get that one.
What am I at? 75% right now?
I think you've gotten all of them except like 1.
Well, right. So 75%, right?
Yeah, you have done a total of 6 questions so far. So you're at what, 86? Well, 5 divided by 6, whatever that is, 84%.
86%? What's passing for the EA?
You know what? I can't believe I don't know that. You guys who took Nick is Steve. What is a passing percentage for the EA? Because I should have looked that up. But that concludes the first big section, the individual section. Okay, now we're going to get to business. These get a little
do you
trickier.
Need to get another beer or take a break?
I'm fine. Why, do you need a break?
I got to go pee. So.
Go for it.
All right, let's go. You tell people where they can find a resource on how to become an enrolled agent.
You won't get to see me do it. All right. So,
What? Oh.
so Clarey and I helped put together this course, and so he put together the course. Like, you guys know the story. He was trying to get me to do it, but it's like it's putting together slides and having to dictate. So I just said, look, man, I don't want to do that. And so he actually put together the course, but I helped him with the material. So, a lot of it was just input that I had. And the name of the course is, I'm actually going to do a much greater, he likes it when I just shout it out, and I'll do that at the end, but it's actually called The World's Greatest Accounting Career. And I linked that in the description, like I do with all the shows. And that's an affiliate link. So if somebody clicks on it, I get a little percentage. And the other thing I want to mention is that this article that has all of these practice questions, I linked that in the description too, in case anybody wants to see the article, because it's good to practice this stuff and to see how hard it is if you think you want to do it. Okay. Nick is Steve. There is no passing percentage. Nathan Zerline says there is no score. It's based on points. And so you need points, and it's a numbering system. Simon says it's a score out of 130. And then Kazel Kraken says the enrolled agent exam is graded on a scale of 40 to 130, and you have to have a score at a 105 or above. It sounds a little bit like the CPA exam, where it's like they attribute different points to different types of questions. So it's some
ever so roughly, it's an 81% passing.
Yeah, 105 divided by
so I'm so far I'm passing.
You're passing, yeah. But now we get to the business section, and so let's talk about this a little bit. Question 1 was really the best one for Clarey. Clarey, I'm being dead serious. If you don't get this right, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Why are you giving me the dead serious? If you don't get this right, I'll never
because
speak to you.
You have to get this one right.
All right.
Business entities and considerations. A taxpayer operates a sole proprietorship but wants to limit personal liability. Which business entity would you recommend for this purpose while maintaining pass-through taxation? Do I even need to read?
No, LLC.
The answer is yes. You want to do an LLC.
All right.
The only thing I'll mention about this is that a C corporation is never the answer. Those are the big corporations like Nike and Microsoft.
Yeah, we're not going to Delaware.
Right. The next section under business is called business tax preparation, and I actually thought question 5 was the best one for you on this, because some of these were kind of tricky. Business taxation is a lot harder than individual. Okay. Question 5. A business claims deductions for meals. What percentage of the meal expense is deductible if the meals are directly related to business? Is it A, 0%, B, 50%,
50.
C, yeah, it's 50. However, for tax years 2021 and 2022, it was 100 because of COVID.
Right.
Yeah, they wanted to help restaurants. So another one right for Clarey. Maybe I should have made these harder.
I'm at 90% now.
So the final section of the businesses, or the final subsection of businesses, is called specialized returns and taxpayers. And I thought question 3 was the best one for you for this one. Question 3 says, you may not get this one, dude. Question 3 is, a small business operated by a decedent is transferred to their heirs. So let's say that you're my son and I die. Okay. What is the basis of the business assets for the heirs? Is it option A, the decedent's original basis, option B, the fair market value on the date of death, C, the purchase price paid by the heirs, or D, the greater of cost or fair market value? Think about this. I die and I give you my business. What do we value when it comes to that?
What was C, where there was a price paid?
Yeah, I don't know why they said that, because it was transferred.
There wouldn't be a price paid if you inherit it. So it's not C. Give me the other 3 again.
Is it A? Is it my original basis? Is it the fair market value of it when I die? Or is it D, the greater of the cost or fair market value?
I'm going to get this one right. Do you know why I'm going to get it right?
Why?
Because the IRS tax code is always if then, greater than, less than. I'm going to go with the D, the greater of the cost of the thing and the stuff. The more complicated answer.
So the answer is actually A, because Well, it's good. It's because when you die,
Mhm.
so let's say if you die and you bequeath something to somebody, they get a stepped up basis. So it's like, let's say I paid for a stock of, I don't know, Berkshire Hathaway, and I paid $1,000, right? And
Mhm.
now the fair market value of the stock when I die is actually 10,000. You
Right.
get the stepped up basis, meaning when you sell that stock, you don't have to pay that huge capital gain of when I purchased it.
Oh,
Does
this
that
is
make
what you were
sense?
talking. Yeah, you
Yeah.
talked about this before about how wealthy people pass this on. And there was some. Yes, you talked about this before.
Yeah.
But I was thinking different angle, different logic, and then I just went with the greater of cost or fair market value because the IRS likes to make it complicated. But I did not get that one correct. No.
Well, it was one of the more difficult questions, but everything else in this section was harder. So,
Okay.
all right. The last section is part 3, and it's called representation, practices, and procedures.
All
Okay.
right.
I've heard this is a annoying exam. So I thought question 1 was the best one for you on this one. And the question is, what action must an enrolled agent take if they discover an error on a client's prior year tax return? Is it A, immediately notify the IRS of the error, B, correct the error without informing the client, C, advise the client of the error and recommend corrective action, or D, ignore the error as it is the responsibility of the client?
I'm going to say probably C, inform the client and recommend that they fix it.
That is the exact
All right.
answer.
Okay.
The only thing I want to say about this is that don't ever, ever, ever do B. You cannot correct somebody's
No,
return
no.
without telling them about it.
Right, right.
That'll get you thrown out. So, all right. So that was practices procedures. The next subsection is called representation before the IRS. And I thought question 2 was the best one for you on this.
How many questions are there in each of these subsections?
It varies. Like some of them had 3, some of them had 5.
Oh, you're not just picking
Yeah.
the easiest one because it's number one. I mean, you found
Yeah,
it.
I
Okay, all
went
right.
through all these. By the way, I took the whole test and everything yesterday. I missed some of these. Like
Oh yeah?
you gotta
Oh,
refresh your memory on a lot of this
I
stuff.
think your
So,
MBA.
MBA is worthless. So question 2, representation before the IRS. During an IRS audit, the enrolled agent notices that the revenue agent has made an error. So the revenue agent made an error in interpreting the tax law. What should the enrolled agent do? Should they A, file an immediate appeal to the IRS appeals office, B, request a meeting to discuss and clarify the issue, C, file a complaint with the OPR, or D, allow the audit to proceed and correct the issue in tax court?
I'm gonna say B.
It's
Because
B.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're not gonna like file a complaint. The guy might have made an honest error.
Yeah. You always want to not escalate any of this stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to yell at Harvey. Harvey might have just had a bad
Harvey,
day.
yeah. I wish Harvey was here for this one. Shoot. Atham, we only have one more question left for Clarey. Do you want to come on? Let me know and I'll send you the link. And then the very last question for you, Clarey, and so far you've gotten all of them right, but 2
All right.
I'm sorry, there's 2 left. So the third subsection is called specific areas of representation. And I thought question 3 was the best for you on this.
All right.
So question 3 is, a client is under criminal investigation for tax fraud. What is the enrolled agent's role in this situation? A, is it to provide legal representation in court? B, act as a mediator between the client and the IRS? C, prepare supporting documentation and work alongside the client's attorney? Or D, file an appeal with the IRS appeals office? This is a slightly trickier one.
Whoa, I'm like, because the enrolled agent isn't he or she actually allowed to legally represent. They're one of 3 people that can represent you, correct?
Correct.
Well, okay, go through the first 3 because I think those are all things they could do. But go through the 3 again.
This is among the trickier ones, but
Okay.
it was still the easiest in this subsection.
All right.
All right. So A, do you provide legal, okay? Do you provide
Legal
legal
advice.
representation in court? Or do you B, act as a mediator between the client and the IRS? Or do you C, prepare supporting documentation and work alongside the client's attorney? Which of these do you think the EA would do? It's a tough
Honestly,
one.
Chad, I would say I would say both A and C, but I'm gonna go with C.
It's C, yeah.
Okay.
Because if you are under criminal investigation, you have to have an attorney. An EA is not going to, you have to have an attorney, essentially.
Oh, so it presupposes
Yeah.
if I'm under criminal investigation, then I can't even talk to the IRS until I get an attorney.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but then where does that ability of an enrolled agent can legally represent you in front of the IRS? Or is it you need an attorney on top of the EA?
If this is a criminal matter, you need
Yeah.
an attorney. There is a huge difference. This is Wesley Snipes versus some dude who forgot to, include a 1099, on his most recent tax return. Yeah. So I thought that one was a little trickier, but the rest of the questions were harder in that section. So
Okay. All right.
So Clarey, this is your last question.
Last
and
one. Well, hang on. Let me do some math.
You've already passed, I think.
No, I don't know. So I have
13 total questions. and we're on
13
number
total.
13.
I have
Yeah.
2 divided by 13 wrong. 15. I can't miss this one. I don't think I can miss this one.
Okay.
Hang on. Let me do another. 3 divided by 13. Am I still above 80%? No, I got to get this one right.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
You should be able to get this one. The
Right.
last subcategory is called filing process, and I thought question 1 made the most sense for you. I don't know. You might not know this, Clarey. If a taxpayer e-files their return but later discovers an error, what form should they file to amend the return? Is it A, a Form 1040X, B, Form 4868, C, Form 2848, or D, Form 1045? Think about this logically.
Well, I had to file an amendment.
You did.
1040X.
You got it. You passed. Question.
Give me my EA. Here I go. I'm gonna go work for H&R Block now.
So that's sort of a good representation of sort of what the EA exams can be. Again, these were the easier questions.
Well, is Atham here yet, or did he?
Yeah, Atham, do you want to come on real quick?
If he doesn't want to, he's
yeah, we're almost
he
an
doesn't
hour
have
anyway.
to.
So
What?
yeah.
Come on, give me a hard one. Come on, give me a couple of hard ones.
You know what?
Here.
Let me give me just a minute.
I don't want to ruin the reputation of the Carlson School. Imagine people are going to think it's a shitty school that you should never attend in a cold state with women that don't like men. Come on.
All right.
What a Carlson grad is capable of here.
Let me go back up to the top here. Individual. So it's supposedly easy, but I don't know, Clarey.
I don't want. Give me a hard one. Come on here. Give me
easy for those of us who know about this stuff, but you might not. Like you might get fooled by this one.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
Question 1, starting at the top. A taxpayer provides you with their W-2 showing income of $75,000 and $10,000 in withholdings. They also mention a bank account with $1,200 of interest that has not yet been reported. Okay. What form should you use to report the interest income, and why is it necessary? Where do you put that on the return? Okay. Option A is Form 1099 Div. Option B is Form 1099 INT. Option C is Schedule B, and option D is simply the Form 1040.
A taxpayer.
You are my client. You give me your W-2 and you give me your interest statement. Where do I have to put the interest? What
Well, wait, run it past me again that I didn't get a 1099 INT from the bank saying I had it. Run the part about not having the interest reported again. Read me the question again.
Sure. So I'll mention that specific part. So you come to me, you give me your W-2. You also tell me I've got a bank account with $1,200 of interest, but I don't have a document for you yet.
So I didn't get the 1099 INT. So that's not it.
But you have to put it somewhere, right?
I have to put it somewhere, right? Well, and I make, how much do I make?
Well, it says you make $75,000. That doesn't matter, dude.
I don't know, because it depends on
It's a bit of a trick
Dude,
question.
I'm gonna say it's the Form 1040.
That is the correct answer.
Why? Come on, look at this.
But there's a
Look at this.
caveat, Clarey. Now, Schedule
Yeah.
B, you do report dividends and interest on Schedule D. It's required, or Schedule B, I'm sorry. But that's only if the interest income exceeds 1,500. So this is a harder question than you think, because they said you had only $1,200 in interest.
Right.
If it had been
What-
1,500, you have to add a new form.
What is Schedule B? I've never used it. Is that like where other income is reported in case somebody didn't give you the proper documentation?
Schedule B is strictly like reporting dividends and interest, and if either of those exceed 1,500, you have to. There's a part at the bottom where you have to certify that none of it is coming from a foreign bank account. This is again like they're trying to
really
crack down
wow
FATCA and all that stuff.
All right,
yeah. For those of you who want to start your own practice and prep, let me tell you a trick I do with this. I don't care if Schedule B is required or not. I always include it, because it's just easier for me to put it on there and explain to the client, like, this was the interest that you had to report, and these are the dividends. You don't have to file this form, but I'm putting it on there for you anyway. So that's just a little pro tip from my end.
All right, give me another hard one here. Hard one, please.
All right. Look away for a second. I want to
look away. Find another one.
Okay.
Look at this blank wall over here.
That one's too hard for you.
What? Wait, what was that?
Yeah. You don't know enough about passive income yet.
Boy, for a guy who's batting 9 out of 10.
All right, Claire, you want it? You got it.
Yeah.
All right,
Mr. NBA, Mr. My farts don't stink.
Okay, look away for a second.
I'm looking away.
Okay, this is on the income and assets part.
Income and assets.
All right, I'm gonna have to really outline this to you. Okay, this is question 1. A taxpayer sold a rental property for $350,000. Okay.
All right.
You can write this down if you have to.
Hang on. Let me get my notes out. I'm not looking. Pulling up my notepad. Okay. Let me create a new. All right. 350,000.
Rental property sold 350,000.
Right.
Their basis in the property was 200,000. Okay, you got this.
Right.
They had taken $50,000 in depreciation. Okay.
Okay, so we're talking depreciation recapture. What was this, Chad?
So Nick is Steve. Yes, it's easy. However, Clarey had to endure this exact situation several years ago. He owed taxes. He wasn't happy about it, and I had to sit there and explain to him why he owed taxes, and it was the depreciation recapture.
Okay.
So you got your numbers, right?
Yeah.
What's the gain? We're not going to worry about what type of gain it was. What's the gain then? What's the capital gain?
Okay, so I sold it for 300. My basis is 350.
Yeah.
My basis is 200,000. I should have a gain, but my basis is really 150. So my gain is 200,000. So
the gain at what you have to report is 200,000 in total. It's just they break it up between 150,000 as a regular capital gain, and then the other 50,000 is it's called
depreciation recapture.
Yeah, which is a Section 1250 gain. So you got the answer correct. Like, it's all kind of the same thing.
You didn't even have to give me the options, right?
All right, you're starting to get cocky. I got to find one that's going to get you.
I can't see the options. He didn't even say A, this amount, B. I just knew it. I just did it.
All right, you look away. All right, you look away for a second.
I can't
look away.
I'm looking away.
I got to find one that's going to get you.
Oh, the old going to get you. What am I at? 93% now?
You're crushing it. I almost gave you this one, Clarey, originally, but I didn't think you'd get it. So question 2, all right? This is this one is, let me tell you the subcategory that this one's in. This one is in deductions and credits, okay? So question 2. A taxpayer claims the child tax credit for 3 children, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If the taxpayer's adjusted gross income exceeds $400,000 and they're filing jointly, so they're married, what happens to this credit? Okay, now here are the 4 options.
All right.
Is it A, it remains unaffected, B, it phases out by $50 for every $1,000 over the threshold, C, it is entirely disallowed, and D, it converts to the earned income credit?
All right.
You
Go
know
over
what?
the
It's
options
not
again.
D.
Don't give me hint. Don't give me hints.
D is the stupidest option, so ignore D. That's just
yeah, because it doesn't. I wasn't going to guess D anyway. But give me the
Mhm.
3 options again.
So, does it remain child tax credit? Does it remain unaffected? Does it phase out by $50 for every $1,000 over the threshold, or is the whole thing disallowed based on that AGI?
Boy, my inclination is to go. They made another rule to make another calculation because the IRS loves that. So it's going to be phased out every $1,000 over it. But the last time I guessed that complicated, I was wrong. And the other one is just completely disallowed because they combine, they make to a boy. It's between those two.
What do you think?
I'm going to guess. You know what? Here's my logic. They have Maggi adjustments for you when you contribute to IRAs, 401ks, things like that. Also, what else is there? I'm going to go with it's phased out because there are many instances in the tax code where things are phased out. Now, am I right or is it completely disallowed?
You got the damn right answer again. It
Man,
is. Hold on. Now,
Lord.
now, great when I'm. You know what? Great when I am going to give him a really hard question. But first, I need to get another beer and I need to go pee. So, Clarey, you can hawk whatever you want.
Let me tell you about the Cynical Libertarian Society, and he likes things hard. All right, let me tell you how much the great one he likes hard questions. He likes hard things.
And also,
Go ahead.
Simon W has a point. You can't just sit and think about these. You are on a time limit, so just keep that.
Oh, for crying out loud! What are you?
I'll be right back, and then we're gonna stump you on some stuff. Okay?
Okay, sure. You're gonna stump me. They've been promising. Anyway, after my amazing performance, which actually is not anything indicative of my education at the Carlson School of Management, which is a shit school that you should never send your kids to, let alone send yourself to. The only reason I got these questions right is because I had done my taxes for quite some time on my own. I am friends with Chad Elkins, and he has done my taxes. We have gone through a lot of these. We've gone through, but a lot of it was me doing taxes, going through the 1040 form years ago. That's how I did it. And it is also, again, not Carlson had nothing to do with it. It is also that I am a fucking genius. I'm an incredibly intelligent person. Yes, I'm unashamed about that because everyone's got a shame. You think you're smarter than us? Yes, I fucking am. And the other thing is that you can deduce these. If you knew enough about taxes, you're kind of like, yeah, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be the other way around. So I'm just a really fucking impressive individual. Let's just put it that way. I'm still waiting to get stumped here. Still waiting to get stumped. Still waiting. Hasn't happened yet. So yeah. And then if you're really bored and you got nothing else to do. You literally have nothing else to do. Check out the Cynical Libertarian Society and listen to the Great Ones podcast. Be forewarned, he is only fans of straight white males and will make that abundantly clear in about the first 45 seconds of every podcast, using nothing but the most colorful epithets to describe different groups of people. But oddly enough, even though he is only a fan of straight white men, he has a surprising a number of black males in his audience who actually like his show. I think what it is everyone's so sick and fucking tired of the politically correct speech that people just like it when he comes in and just starts going on a tear. But you can find sinlibsoch.com. Chad, are you there? You turned off your camera. I can see you moving around.
No, I'm here. Yep.
All right. Gonna give me a really hard one?
I am. This is the pickle beer that will disgust the rest of you, but I love it.
Oh God, the GF is smiling. She drinks pickle juice out of the like a fucking animal.
I'm gonna have to bring her one of these because she would really like it.
Why are you people vindicating these behaviors?
All right, Claire, if you get this one, I'll be truly impressed.
What do I get? I'm doing pretty good. This is like a kid coming home with straight A's. What do I get?
You might get something, it'd be more of a Christmas present, but it might be a drink or several drinks that you enjoy for some god-awful reason.
Okay, already I know you got those. I mean, no, what else do I get? I got to get something. Like when you come visit me You got to buy me a Big Mac or something.
Okay, I'll buy you
All
a Big
right,
Mac.
some unhealthy fast food. You must buy me a Happy Meal or an equivalent thereof.
Absolutely.
All
All
right.
right, Clarey, if you get
Here
this
we go.
one, okay.
By the way, the GF is tuning in right now. She is so turned on with my performance. She ripped my clothes off when she comes down here.
My GF is tuned in right now too, but I think she's bored.
Well, duh. I mean,
all right. Question. So a taxpayer paid $5,000 in tuition for their dependents' undergraduate education. Okay. Which education credit may they qualify for, and how much is the maximum allowable credit? Now, option A is lifetime learning credit of $2,000. Option B is American Opportunity Tax Credit of $2,500. Option C is tuition and fees deduction, which is $4,000. And option D is none, because the credit is only for graduate students. I can read those again for you.
read those again, me.
Okay, they're also on the screen. Option A is lifetime learning credit of $2,000. B is American Opportunity Tax Credit for $2,500. C is tuition and fees deduction for $4,000. And D is none, because you can only do this for graduate students. This is an undergrad.
Undergrad, $5,000. A is the lifetime thing for $5,000. And what's B?
B is it's the American Opportunity Credit for $2,500.
Okay, here's my logic. I've never heard of the second one. I have heard of the lifetime one. We'll go with A.
So the answer is actually B, because
Darn
undergraduate. Yeah, I had to. I'm sorry to have to do this to you, man. Like, if you don't study some of the stuff, we can't let you get too cocky.
Yeah.
The lifetime learning credit is generally for grad students, and the lifetime learning credit and tuition and fees deduction sort of go hand in hand. Now, they stopped allowing the tuition and fees deduction for a while, but when it comes to undergraduate, you always want to remember it's the American Opportunity Credit. That's
the American. When was that American Opportunity? I want to know when that was implemented.
It's been around for a while.
Has it?
Yeah. If any of you guys know when they did that, but it has been around a long time. Ever since I started doing taxes, it's been around a long time.
Okay, yeah. then I've never heard of it. So okay, well then I didn't get one of the really hard ones. So
all right, well you look away for a second.
One more. All right,
yeah, we'll do one more.
Let me bring my notepad back up. All right.
Okay, that one's too easy for you.
Hey, yeah, I'm whittling it down between 1 and 2. You know,
well, let me just say, this doesn't seem like rocket science, right? You just have to study for this stuff.
Yeah, no, these are factual. Like, do you know this thing or not? It's not like you have to deduce or come up with a mathematical formulae to derive the correct answer. It's either you know it or you don't.
Okay, you'll like this one, Clarey, because it's kind of you. Okay. A taxpayer owns 50% of an S corporation. You know what those are, right? So
yes,
50% of an S corporation, and receives a $30,000 distribution during the tax year. If the S corporation, the whole thing, had $25,000 of taxable income, how much of the income must this particular taxpayer report?
Whoa, wait a minute. Run this past me again. So there's an S corp.
It's an S corp, right? But
it gets K1 distribution of
there's two
30,
people.
000.
One owns 50%, the other owns the other 50%, right?
All right.
Okay. This particular taxpayer, the one that owns 50%, got a $30,000 cash distribution during the year.
Okay.
If the S corporation, the whole thing, had $25,000 of taxable income, how much of the income must that one particular taxpayer report? This is
okay. So he took so 25,000. That's 12,500 to each partner, and so he has 30,000 distribution. So subtract that out. You are at what is that? 17.5 is a capital distribution of previous contributed capital. So he only pays taxes on 12,500.
You fucking got it, you son of a bitch.
I want to do. Look, you great one. Look at me go. Look at me go. Come on.
This was meant to trip you up because, you know, just some people think distributions are taxable, which they are if they're an excessive basis. But to be fair, Clarey has an S corporation. And how did you know about an S corporation? Who got you in on that?
My good friend Chad Elkins of the Elkins Accounting Hour said,
Correctamundo.
"Hey, you need to save money on payroll taxes. So we're going to set
Exactly.
you up with an S corp owning an LLC."
Exactly.
I knew that because of banking, because a distribution is not necessarily all paid out through profits. It could be they're just taking out money from a company you previously invested in.
Right. So you know about finance, you know, you were well equipped to
You know,
Clarey, I truly believe if you did want to take, you don't need to, but if you ever did want to take the EA exams, I think you would pass them. I don't know if you'd have to really study
here's the only thing I want to say about this test is all of you got to get over the fact that I'm just good looks. You got to all get over my good looks and charm. I know it's like this blinding personality trait I have, and it's the most prominent thing you all see about me, but I got a brain up here too.
Yeah. Okay, so that is a good. I have just a few conclusions. And remember, I heard back from people who took the EA exam. They wanted me to add a few thoughts about it. They said, so just a few options. A couple of the people said that in terms of study options, that they felt that the best ones were. Is it Gleam or Gleim? I don't know how you. It's Gleim. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't know either, but you mentioned them before.
They make CPA study material too, but most people thought that was the best study material. There's one called Fast Forward Academy that Intuit owns, and if you work for Intuit, because some people do seasonally, you get a free 12-month subscription. So just something to keep in mind. And then the last one I kept hearing about was Passkey. So Gleam, Gleim, Fast Forward Academy, and Passkey. Okay, keep those in mind. And now somebody had recommended, you know how there's three EA exams. I had a couple of people recommend an order to take them. Like they both took it in the same order.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I feel like this is sort of dependent on the person, but they think you should take you should take representation first. That was the last category we did. Then individual, and then business. So that tells me that they thought business was more complex than the other two.
I have to agree with them because while you were gone, I was speculating why I did well because I've usually had experience in these because I would fill out my own taxes quite some time ago. But the first one is just common sense business ethics. Do you tell the IRS without telling your client? No, obviously not. So I think that is the easiest one, and that would be most akin to logic and common sense. The second one, individuals. Most people have experience with individuals, and if they're working in H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt or whatever, they have experience with that, and it's just less frequent that you're going to have business tax returns to file. So I think not only building up confidence, but it's a logical progression, I would say.
That's a good take. And I've said this a lot, but when you do go out on your own, the real money is getting into the business partnership and like corporate returns because people, I mean, TurboTax may offer software that can do those, but this is just a do not try this at home situation. So, well, bravo to you. You did a lot better than I thought you were going to do.
Can you show your old man this one? I know he doesn't
absolutely.
like Can you show him this one? Because I like Mr. Elkins.
I'm flying up to Portland. Yeah, Portland in 2 weeks for the holidays. So I'll make sure he watches this one.
Why would you stay in sunny Dallas? Yeah, right.
Well, guess who's going to fly up the day of Christmas? I can't believe she wants to do this. Like Portland is,
yeah, but she likes you probably. That's probably why.
Oh, I don't know.
Plus, don't her and Mrs. Elkins just
They talked on the phone the other night, and it was just hilarious. Not long, but like I just got to sit back and be like, yeah, they can cancel each other out. You know, I'm just kidding. Well, listen, man, I got some good news. We met the super chat goal, and I'll conclude.
We're winning. Look, I'm winning I passed the EA exam. We got enough super chats. We're all passing today.
We'll go through the rest of the super chats, and then we'll share the funny anecdote on that. So,
Matthew YJ Kim, $5. The world's greatest accounting career, satisfied customer. Good, thank you, Matt. Yeah. We don't hear back.
There's been an uptick in sales lately. I don't know why. At
Yeah.
least the ones I see. So.
Well, but they were all you, right? Because you said you got a notification, so they all came from your link. So I think a video of yours must have gone semi-viral, or somebody linked to it or something.
Yeah, maybe somebody saw it. I don't know.
Justified Misogany, $2. If I sell my Bitcoin Ethereum, is it worth it to hire a CPA? That's a good question.
That is a good question. Wow.
I have the answer.
I mean, you're probably going to say yes, but like crypto is just. What's your answer?
How did you buy it, Justified? Like, did you buy it directly from someone, or did you use an exchange? Because, and I'm not endorsing tax evasion, but if you didn't use an exchange, there is then, I presume, not a record that a financial company has to report. If you just bought it directly from someone, there's no, well, as far as I know, it's hard. Well, let's put it, it's harder to be tracked because you do not have a financial or electronic record of that. So, yeah.
I'm just saying this is a real sticking point with the government. Like they've been trying for several years now to try to nail people for not reporting their crypto. Coinbase is pretty much sold out, and there's like Robinhood. So if you use those platforms, they know. But
well, they have to be compliant with federal regulations, obviously. Yeah, and you do have a tax liability.
Yeah.
The real question is one of ethics. Are you going to, if you just traded with someone, and they actually gave you cash, like you met up with someone, you did it over your phone or whatever, and they gave you cash. All right, yeah, that's a capital gain. Are you going to report it? That's up to you.
Yeah, if you bought it from Coinbase, then
there is a financial record of you buying, and you will be audited. Yes, that's no different than if you bought a house or a stock.
Yeah,
through a brokerage, because that's what Coinbase is. It's a brokerage, and I guarantee you they are compliant and reporting to the feds. They might even issue documentation because it is a financial security.
They do now. Yeah. So Mr. J is the same as Justified Misogyny. What I would say is, why don't you try doing it on your own? And if at any point you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing, then go find a CPA. Okay. Email me if you have any problems with this. All right. Oh, Atham, you shouldn't be leaving us.
Why are you doing this? What, $5? I want to make 6 figs online, like chat. 6 figs. Man, you're rich.
He said seven. 7
figs. I'm sorry, 7 figs. Like Chad does. Maybe that will get me the girls. It's also been long since I got laid. I'm about to get Indian citizenship.
What is this bizarro world? Atham, I think you and I need to talk about something related to this, believe it or not.
You guys need to hang out
soon.
Parker Franklin for $5. Cappy did well. Haha. Great stream, Chad. I'm almost fully ready for tax season. Website is live. Look at that. He's got a website. Look, Parker is like the first, isn't he?
Let me tell you about Parker. So Parker came to me 2.5 years ago, and he'd never had any experience with this, right? And we had a consultation in mid 2022. He was like, Chad, can I do this? And I said, well, absolutely, you can do it. He has 2 seasons at H&R Block under his belt. He did dabble in it with a few other firms, but now he is ready to go out on his own for the upcoming tax season. And nice. I am sending him referrals because I'm still getting people emailing me. This is how you win, guys.
Do you know what's great about this in terms of what you've helped Parker do?
What's that?
You are more successful than the entire Democrat Party, because at least you got one person out of poverty. You absolutely, like one person, Chad.
I'm just glad that we didn't have to, everybody thinks, I have to go back to school. I have to get an accounting degree. No. Mm-mm.
And you know what's great about Parker's route that he took?
He did it the way we tell people to do it.
Well, right. But what's great about that, contrasting to going to college, he was getting paid to do this the entire time.
Yes.
Maybe not a lot, but he wasn't paying $406 a credit to get a college degree.
Now, I do believe, Parker, correct me if I'm wrong, he did take an accounting course at a community college just because it doesn't hurt to do that. But at least you're not wasting it on stupid liberal arts courses that they force you to take. So, yeah. Thanks, Parker.
What do we get for helping him out? Don't we get a commission of 38% his gross income because we helped him out, right? We're his agents, right? We get commission on this, right?
Well, as everybody knows, for the referrals I send you that work out, you give me a little bit of kickback. It's just how the world works.
Thomas Crown, 20 generous dollars. I'm a W-2er and my dividend and interest income is getting to the point where I'll be forced to do estimated tax payments. Should I estimate the taxes and pay them quarterly on my own, or would you recommend that I hire a CPA?
Do you want to field this one?
Yeah, I would. Here's what I do, Thomas. Go look up your gross income. Go look at you can find out what tax bracket you're in on the gross income, and then just apply that percentage to your dividend and interest income. So let's say your dividend and interest income is $5,000 a quarter, and you're in the 25% tax bracket. I don't even know what the tax bracket, but let's say you find your 25% tax bracket. Just do your estimated quarterly tax payments of 25% of that 5,000, which is, what is that, 1,500?
It's
whatever,
like
whatever,
12,500.
Right, whatever. Yeah, just find out what your tax bracket is based on your gross income. Apply that to your estimated dividend and interest income. Make the quarterly payments on that, and that's what I would do.
I have one thing to add. You don't have to pay them the first day that you're eligible to pay them, like Clarey does.
If you want to be a nerd or a square, sure, but if you want to be edgy and on top of things, look, if you want to be a great one and have a bunch of things on your to-do list that will never get done, or if you want to be like me, we're like, no, I got after this, I'm done. I have nothing on my to-do list.
Listen, great one just needs to play Star Wars. That's just how it is.
I envy his life at times where it's just so like, it's like I get to drink and play video games.
Here's our last super chat, and then I'll give you the payoff for meeting our super chat goal.
Mike Truth, the king. $5. Unrelated, Cappy Chad. Cargill from Minnesota, U.S. largest food private employer. Largest private company in the United States, period.
Really?
Yes. I think they make $250 billion a year in sales.
Wow.
They're huge. Laying off a couple thousand employees. Your guys' thoughts?
We're heading into a recession.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't, just so you know, I don't hate Cargill. Cargill was never one of the really snooty elite ones. It's just that it's in the Western burbs, which is this. They're in Wayzata.
Oh,
and they're snooty, and then like, oh, Wayzata, you're so special. And then I gotta imagine it's not that big because hang on, let's look it up. Cargill is huge, so a couple thousand. It's like we love seeing the big four lay off people. But they're laying off like a couple hundred, maybe 1,000, which is a small fraction of the number of employees. Cargill, number of employees, 160,000. Yeah, so a couple thousand. That's just general maintenance and keeping cost control, or the company has evolved and some positions have been redundant. I don't think I think that's just business as usual.
Yeah, I think I'm a little confused right now because I see that, like, Big Four is laying off people, firms are laying off people, but then I hear there's all this economic optimism from, the election results and everything. So I don't know where we're at.
I think what it really is the media never doing their job, or it's been a long time since they did their job. People are going to click on an article about the Big Four laying off people because people hate the Big Four. But when you look at it as a percentage of total employees, it's like, dude, that's less than 1%. And a company may evolve that some people are obsolete or whatever. So, do I like to hear Cargill, which you can't work for unless your kids played hockey with the corporate executives' kids and you're a bunch of prissies over in Wayzata? Sure, it's a funny little shtick, but in the grand scheme, that's just normal cost control. I'm sure it's nothing. If they laid off 25% of their employees, that'd be an issue. That's, less than 1%, I think, of what they're laying people off right now.
Okay. Claire, we do have one more super chat. I did not get to see the video you did earlier today. So,
all right.
From
King Crab, $2. United Healthcare uses AI to deny 95% of claims. Yeah. The United Healthcare CEO got assassinated today. Yeah. And I did a video on that where we don't know for a fact, and it'll come out later, but I'm thinking you probably denied somebody's claim that cost somebody their lives or ruined them financially. And you know what? There's a chance that the customer was wrong, but given how insurance companies are just so poorly managed, and you try to fuck over your clients all the time, everyone's like, oh, it's too bad. And what's sad is this guy, the CEO who got assassinated, he doesn't sound like necessarily an MBA dude, bro. He was a CPA. He worked
Yeah.
up through the rank, and it's just like, yeah, wrong guy, wrong time. But maybe executives might want to think about this next time you think, well, let's just cut corners and cut costs instead of delivering an honorable product.
So as you guys know, or might know, I had back surgery in late April of this year. They make you pay up front. I've mentioned this. You have to pay up front, and then the claim will process. And if you paid too much, they'll give you a refund. If you owe more, you owe more. This has gone back and forth between the hospital and my insurance company over and over again. They're supposed to be cutting me a check, but they're arguing about, well, that wasn't covered. That wasn't covered. I don't know how much longer that's going to last, but this is really
still going on.
off. Yeah, it's still, this is over $1,000. I want my fucking money back.
How long ago was it? A year?
Late April was when I had surgery.
8 months. All right.
It should have been resolved by now.
Yeah, I can't really care. I'm sorry to the family, and maybe the guy was a good guy, but I don't know. Maybe it's going to take a couple of these things for you insurance people and large corporations in general to stop fucking with your clients.
Yeah, it is a scam. All right, now Clarey, we met our goal, and some quick background with this. This is involving Cuddlewooks. Okay, what happened with Cuddlewooks? I still can't believe she lets me do her and her husband's tax returns. It's like, what are you, crazy? I see all of this. She actually, I'm not going to call it a legitimate job, but she did have a paid job. Didn't pay a lot, but it was a legit W-2 job that had benefits. This was going on up until like 6 months ago or something.
All right.
So she got laid off, and she told me, and I was like, oh, that sucks, whatever. And then I log on to Instagram. This was only like 2.5 weeks ago.
Not too many details now.
I won't say. Right. Yeah, it was Instagram. That's all I'm going to say.
Right.
So I get on there, and there's all these stories and all these other things, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because she never does those. She is essentially attempting to become an influencer. And there's some things you need to know about Cuddlewooks here. And I'm going to try to be as charitable as I can. Again, no doxing. So when I dated Cuddlewooks, she was in her late 20s, early 30s. This was a long time ago, okay? I'll just say it. She was never beautifully stunning or anything, and she never really had anything particularly intelligent to say, at least not that I did.
Well, she wasn't ugly.
She wasn't ugly, but it's like...
She wasn't drop dead gorgeous.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So she's past 40 now, and I'm just going to say, she's hit the wall. Like,
She has hit the... That's a good way of putting it. Yes.
She's hit the wall. And she continues just to like put out stuff every day, like trying so hard to accumulate. And it's kind of sad because it's like, you're not going to be able to get anybody to, yeah.
Well, should we qualify it? I think a bit of information. I mean, I'm an influencer. You're an influencer. I think what needs to be said is she's trying to use her female youth and beauty to be an influencer of a type. And that's her niche. I was not webcam girl, anything approaching, but
it's not only
her quote youth and beauty is obviously, well, she's using that as the strategy to gain a followership that would be disproportionately male. Right. Okay, that's it. Yeah.
And I'm just saying it's not going to work. And so at first I thought it was funny,
not with the picture she's putting up.
No, God. And I showed it to Clarey. Like it's just, I don't know. I feel bad for her, but at the same time, it's kind of like pathetic.
She's an evil person.
Yeah.
She's evil. This is great. It's the punishment of being a lazy person who doesn't want to work, like anything and everything to avoid a real job. I wish I could give more details. But the delivery method, we know the tactic or the strategy is, oh, I'm a girl. Hey, guys. But then the way she's delivering it, I'm like, are you fucking joking me? This is just, anything but a real job, sweetheart? Like, you will do anything, including things that have no chance whatsoever of succeeding. And I just like, okay, keep wasting your time, man. That's your only asset you got, and you keep wasting it. And it's wonderful to watch her do this.
All I can say is that is the last thing I thought I would stumble across. So yeah, that was the funny thing I wanted to tell you guys. Remember, this woman put me through hell and pretty much tried to entrap me into
Oh yeah,
getting,
she did. Yeah, I saw the video. Yep, we told you to film that exchange, and
Oh,
you
I'm
did.
so glad I did. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to a former cop friend of yours who still lives in Chicago.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
that's all I had, man. I hope you did really well on the on the questions. I did pick mostly easy ones, but you held
You
your
did
own on
okay on the
there.
hard ones too.
I want to stress to you guys again, I've never taken the EA exam, but as I looked at most of the questions, I linked the article on down below. You just have to do a little studying and you can pass all of these. So
I would say not a little. You don't want to take it twice. Do a shit ton of studying up front. Make sure you pass it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got, Clarey. Do you want to hawk anything else or just
do we have anything that might interest people in the
we
accounting
do.
field and profession?
I was just thinking about that the other day. I don't know. What do you think what do we got?
Well, you got this audience, right? And they want to be like Parker, like, well, how can I in 2.5 years become remotely and self-employed making $55 an hour? You know what's great about this? Like, I have no problem selling this whatsoever. This isn't like some scam or racket.
Right.
It's not like, well, hey, if you sell pictures of water. No, basically, we have a course called The World's Greatest Accounting Career. It's available on Teachable. I delivered it. Chad kind of designed it, and you can find it on the internet, and it helps you kind of become like Parker, where you don't have to go to college if you don't want to, or if you did want to go to college, you can become more like Chad. And it's basically the most direct, cost-effective way for you to become an accountant, whether that's a tax accountant, a bookkeeper, an enrolled agent, or whatever. And so that's available on Teachable. Chad, I think you have it linked below.
I've got it linked below. Yeah. There's a lot of articles coming out nowadays because tax season's just, about 8 weeks away. Yep. Really 6 weeks away, but there's a lot of angst. People are like, there's not enough people around to do this. We have to turn people away. We need you guys to get into the field.
Do you have some of those articles? It'd be a good reminder to everyone who's like, there's no shortage. Like, yeah, okay. What about this article? What about these numbers? That might make a good, because you're like a submarine. You submerge during tax season and we don't see you for 3 months. So maybe before tax season starts.
Maybe I'll do a stream about that. Yeah. Final question for both Clarey and the chat, because I'll be here for a while. Does anybody have any interest in making the return of Mr. Texas? Because he's been getting on me. I want to come back on your channel and everything. So
I like Mr. Texas.
I think we may get him on here again.
Now that he's healthy again. Yeah.
He's perfectly healthy. That's why he's chomping at the bit to get back.
I wish I could say what the cause of his illness was.
You know what? I wish I could too. I wish I could. Oh my God. It is not what we thought it was. But,
oh my God, it's hilarious. And this isn't besmirching. This has nothing to do. There's no shame on Mr. Texas. But once they diagnosed it correctly,
I can't promise this, but I will tell you. You get him going on here, he might just disclose it on his own.
He might tell you. Okay,
yeah,
it'll be up to him.
So thank you very much, Clarey. I'll get you your half of all these wonderful super chats. Thank you for the super chats, you guys. And Clarey's going to tell you all when we should hang out again.
We should hang out soon.